Hi everybody. So today we are going to be making chromatography butterflies. So you might be wondering what the word chromatography means. And what it is it's just a way to separate different components of a substance. And there's different ways you can do it. You can use a liquid like we're going to do. We're going to use a cup of water, or you can also use vapor, which is gas chromatography. And they use chromatography in a few different areas. One of them is in food. So a lot of times they will take certain samples of foods to see what kind of acids are in the food, to see if it's going to last longer or how long until you can keep it, until it goes bad. They also use chromatography in forensics. So if you like those shows on TV with the cops and the forensic scientists, they use gas chromatography, which is like a vapor instead of using a liquid, and they test blood and hair and different things that they find at a crime scene, and this allows them to come up with what may have happened, or a sequence of events that may have led up to something else. So chromatography is used in a few other areas as well, or you can use it for a fun little science experiment like we're going to do. So the materials you're going to use is a cup of water, not too much water in the cup though, a coffee filter, some watercolor markers, and if you want to, you can hang it up and after you're done making your butterfly, but a pipe cleaner and possibly some string if you have it. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to take one of our coffee filters and we're going to use a watercolor marker. And what we're going to try and do here is we're going to try and separate the different chemicals that are in the marker to give this marker a blue tint, or the color of blue. So there's different chemicals that are made to make each color. So we're going to use water to separate the different colors that make up this blue marker. So if you flatten it out, and you might want to put a piece of paper underneath just so you don't ruin your table. And somewhere around where this flat part meets the ridges, we're going to draw a big circle. Now you want to make sure you draw it big enough, because I did this earlier and I made it too small, and when I placed it in the water I had to redo it. So once you do that, then I'm going to take a pencil, and just in the middle with my pencil I'm going to write blue, because if you do a couple of these, sometimes after the colors start to separate, you don't really remember what your original marker color was to start with. So once you do that, then what I'm going to do is, and you can see it went through here, is we're going to fold it in half, and then I'm going to fold it in half again, maybe once more. Okay, so now you have the area between the tip, like the point where you folded it, and your marker. So now you're going to take your cup of water, and you don't want to put too much water in it. So when we put this coffee filter into the cup of water, we're going to want to kind of spread it out a little bit and put it in there. We don't want the water to be high in our cup, because if it touches the marker, it's going to pull the colors down, and we want the colors to move up. So what's going to happen is the coffee filter is kind of papery, and it's made out of cellulose, which is the same thing that plants and trees are made out of, and right now it's dry. So just like when you put a dry sponge in water and it soaks up all the water, this is like a piece of paper, and it's going to soak up the water. Now the water is going to start here, and it's going to start to move up the paper, and once it passes through the marker, the chemicals in the marker all have different weights. Some are heavier and some are lighter. So the lighter chemicals are going to move much faster with the water towards the top of your coffee filter. And the heavier ones are going to move a little bit slower, and they're going to start to separate out. Now this doesn't take long, maybe 5 or 10 minutes. But like I said, you don't want to start with too much water. And I don't know how well you're going to see on the camera, but as this starts to get wet, it's going to get a little heavier and it's going to sink a little. It'll start to move. So I'm going to just put this one aside. So the tip of my coffee filter is just barely touching the water. I'm not really sure if you can see it, and I don't want to tilt it too much, but I do have some that are done. So the colors, let me move that one aside. Actually, I'll put it over here. There's one. So this was originally green, and here's another one I did, and these are already dried out. This one was originally purple. So you could see, and I could faintly see where my original mark was. It was right here. So when I had this folded, my marker was about here, and all those pigments were carried up with the water as it gets soaked up into your coffee filter. So it's going to end up all at the edges. So the purple you could see is made of a little bit of blue and different shades of, like, they look more pink than purple. There's a little bit of purple in here, but it pretty much worked out to me to be two different colors here. You could see the blue, and then you could see like pink. So that's what I get out of the purple one. And then the green one, I think there's pigments of green, and then you can also see some yellow, some different shades of yellow and lighter greens in this one. Now, what would be neat to try is if you had different brands of markers, watercolor markers, that is. So I have Crayola, and I know there's lots of other different brands that you can try to see if there's a difference in what colors get separated out from the ink. So the purple from a Crayola compared to a purple from another one, to see, you know, what the difference is. So remember to put with pencil in the middle so you know what they are, because depending how many different colors, it might not be obvious that this was green. Black is a good one to try because black is made of lots of different colors, so that's a good one. So if you have a black watercolor marker, that would be good to try as well. So we're gonna look at this one. Now it's, I didn't leave it sit in long enough to let, so that actually soaked all the way up to the top, but you can see these colors are slowly starting to follow the water as it's being pulled up the coffee filter. They're starting to move. So it doesn't take too long, maybe 5 minutes or so, and then you can let them dry like these. And once they're dry, then you could take them, and you can either take it and kind of scrunch it in the middle. Well, maybe we'll fold it. And maybe I'll like kind of like accordion style it. So flip it, fold it, that might be better. Flip it, fold it, flip it, fold it, flip it, and fold it a little bit. And then you can take a pipe cleaner and we can tie it in the middle, and you can cut this in half if it's too long and give it a little twist at the top. And these can be our butterfly antenna, and I'm just going to curl it around the edge of my finger here. Might have to turn this a little like this actually. And then you can spread out the little wings like this. And then if you have some string at home, some fishing string or some thread, you can tie it to the top, and then you can hang it in front of the window. It would look nice. The sun would shine through, almost like a sun catcher. So I'm excited to see what your butterflies could come out to look like, and try black. That's going to be a good color to try. I think we kind of shy away from black, but black's an interesting color choice for chromatography. So I hope you enjoy this activity.